Let's come into mountain pose. So feet together. Make sure your knees are over your ankles. Your hips are over your knees. Okay, let's come into mountain pose. So feet together. Make sure your knees are over your ankles. Your hips are over your knees. Slightly tuck your tailbone in. Pull your shoulders back and down. Maybe do that a couple times. Rolling your shoulders back and down. Slightly tuck your chin in. You're going to feel like there's a string being pulled through the top of your head. So stand up really tall, hands equal by your sides. This is mountain pose, Tadasana. This is grounding us. Just take a moment and come into your body. You can evenly distribute the weight back and forth, left and right. Grounding yourselves in our body, coming out of our mind, not thinking about what we need to do after this, what we're doing before this, just coming into the present moment by focusing on our body. Roll the shoulders back and down a couple times, shift the weight left and right. Evenly distribute the weight in the feet. We're always wearing shoes, so you really want to push down on the feet, activate all the little muscles and ligaments in your feet. Okay, so from here, let's do 10 forward folds. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up really tall, come forward. So stay on your heels for the first couple. And you can stay on your heels or you can come up onto your toes. That's 2. So keep going. Start to activate those yogic breaths. So inhale, push the belly out. Exhale, push the belly in. So we use the breath as the anchor to bring us into the present moment. When we take these yogic breaths, we're also activating our rest and digest nervous system, which gets us out of fight or flight. When we're in rest and digest, then we can easier come into a coherent state of mind with our meditation, which just means we can focus on meditating better, easier. It'll be easier to sit there and meditate if we're out of our fight and flight nervous system. Inhale up, exhale down. You can slowly come to the top. Your head's going to come up last. And then bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. We're going to warm up the spine. So bending at the hips, come forward, over to the left, to the back, down. And when you finish, switch sides. And then slowly roll to the top. Bring your feet together, come back to mountain pose, Tadasana. This is activating our first chakra located at the base of the spine. And this makes us feel safe and secure and grounded. So this grounds us into the earth. Our feet are on your mat, but you're on the earth. So grounded into the earth. A lot of times you might be in your head and you may not be in your body. And so this is bringing all those thoughts out of your mind into your body, focusing on your feet, focusing on your legs, focusing on your spine. Are you standing up tall? Slightly tuck the chin in, or your lunderbund. And when you feel grounded and you come to a still point, maybe you need to shake it out a little bit, maybe you need to move your body. So when you feel grounded, let's do some neck rolls. Bring your chin to your chest. We'll do 3 to the left. Finished, come to the top, and we'll do that on the other side. So 3 to the right. Just take your time. Center, come back to mountain pose. Okay, let's do warrior 1. Actually, let's do chair pose. So feet hip width apart. Then bring your arms up, look forward. So bring your knees behind your toes. Into chair pose, Utkatasana. Start to deepen your breath here. Activate that Ujjayi breath. Windy breath at the back of the throat. Let's release that. Let's come into Ragdoll. So inhale, reach up really tall. Come on your heels, bend up the hips, come forward, grab the elbows, bend the knees. You can try bending one knee, just bend the left knee. Feel the stretch in the back and your hip, and then you can straighten that, bend the other knee. Just take some deep breaths. Just do whatever feels good. So become aware that in this posture, your head is under your heart. Release your hands, slowly roll to the top. Your head's going to come up last. Feet together, come into mountain pose. Roll your shoulders back and down. And then from here, let's do chair pose with a twist to the left. So feet hip width apart. Bring your arms up, inhale, and then exhale, twist to the left. And look as far left as you can with your eyes. So I didn't feel good last week, so I actually watched the yoga video I sent you guys because I know that there's a lot of energy in these yoga practices. And so I didn't feel good, so I was like, I'm gonna watch this and I'm gonna gain this energy. And then I ended up doing the meditation too, and I was like, yep, this is my favorite meditation. I love activating the heart, so we're gonna do that tonight. So if you ever don't feel good, you can always just watch the videos. They have a lot of energy in them. So by watching things, we can pick up on that energy. Our heart has mirror neurons. So you're watching someone doing yoga and it's like cheating. Okay, you're not really doing it, but you're gaining energy from it. And it's a positive thing. I think it counts. Okay, and then come forward. Let's release that. Come into Ragdoll. Inhale. Exhale, come onto your feet. Come forward, bending at the hips. And the knees if you want. You can shake your head yes and no if that feels good. Just gentle, just move your head back and forth. Bend just the left knee. Take a deep breath. Straighten it, bend the right knee. Just take a moment. Just acknowledge that your head is below your heart. So your heart's on top now. And then release your hands. Slowly roll to the top. The head's going to come up last. Come back to mountain pose. Center yourself. Okay, so we're going to do Bumble Bee Pose. This is a balancing pose. So you're going to find the point on your mat to help you balance. And then put all of your weight in your left foot. We're going to balance with the right foot. So hands equal by your sides. And then slowly start to bring the right foot up. So this is a balancing pose. Make sure you breathe. So you're zipping your navel up into your spine, creating a really flat back, helping you balance. And then slowly bring your foot down. Shake that out if you need to. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So find a point on your mat to help you balance. This is our dristi. We're using our eyes, which we are also strengthening our eyes, which I never thought about. But when you use your eyes to focus on a point, we're strengthening the eye muscles. It helps with the brain also. Find the point on your mat to help you balance. Put all of the weight in that right foot, and then slowly bring the left foot up. Doesn't matter how far you go up, this is just a balancing pose where we're practicing our balance. The more balanced we can be in our bodies, that comes in, transforms into our life as well. We become more balanced in our life. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale, push the belly out. Exhale, push the belly in. And then slowly come back to center, come back to mountain pose. Shake that out if you need to. Stand up really tall. Hands equal by your sides. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. We're grounding ourselves into our body. Make sure your knees are over your ankles. Slightly tuck your tailbone in. Roll your shoulders back and down. This is really important because we're always hunched over on our phones or the computer. Slightly tuck that chin in. And then you want to feel like a string's being pulled to the top of your head. Hands equal by your sides. Okay, let's come into chair pose again with a twist on the other side. Feet hip width apart. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, come into your posture. Start to really deepen your breath here. You really want to be able to hear your breath by now. Let's release that. Bring your arms down. Inhale, reach up really tall. Come onto the toes, come down, bend forward at the hips, grab the elbows, come into Ragdoll. Really deepen your breath here. Inhale, push the belly out. Exhale, push the belly in. Now that your head is below your heart, just ask your heart if it has anything to tell you. Do you need me to know anything? Do you have anything to say? Then release your hands and slowly roll to the top. Your head's going to come up last. Come back to mountain pose. Coming into Tadasana. Okay, let's come into half moon pose on the right. So inhale, reach up really tall. Ardha Chandrasana on the right. Feel the stretch all down the left side. Back to center, big circle with the arms. Let's do that on the other side. Inhale. Come down to your heels, come over to the left. Big circle with the arms. Okay, let's come into warrior one on the right. Right foot forward. Our heels lined up with the middle of the left foot. Make sure your knee stays over your ankle. Square your hips to the front of the room. Take some deep breaths here. Down, bring your left foot forward, come back into Tadasana. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So left foot forward, right foot comes back. Our heel is lined up with the middle of our right foot, square hip to the front of the room. Inhale, make sure your knee stays over your ankle. Exhale. Really deepen your breath here. Really inhale. Exhale. Bring your arms down. Bring your right foot forward. Shake that out if you need to. Okay, let's come into triangle pose. So right foot forward, left foot comes back, our heels are aligned. Our arms come out to a T. You're gonna keep that left leg straight. And then we're gonna inhale, come over to the left, and then come down. You can stay here on your calf or your ankle or the mat. And make sure your arms are stacked on top of each other. And you can either look down at the mat or up at your hand. Bring your arm down, bend that left knee, come forward. Shake that out if you need to. Come back to Tadasana. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So triangle pose. Trikonasana. Like our heels are lined up this time, and our foot is straight. It's not at an angle. So line up your heels, bring your arms to a T, and then you're going to inhale, reach over to the right, and then exhale, come down. So you can stay here, bring your hand to your ankle or your mat, look up towards your left hand, make sure your arms are stacked on top of each other, and you can keep looking up at that hand or look down at the mat. Left arm down, bend your right knee, come back to Tadasana. Okay, let's come into our half forward fold, Tanasana. So inhale, reach up really tall. Stay here for a second, stay on your heels, because we're bringing our arms up, creating lots of space in our spine. Our spine gets compacted all day long. So really take a couple breaths and reach up. Imagine your spine lengthening. Imagine space between each vertebra of the spine. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Come up onto your toes, come down your heels, and then bend at the hips. Coming into our half forward fold, Uttanasana. Focusing on the heart here, we're activating that heart chakra. And then from here, we're gonna walk our feet out into downward dog. So feet hip width apart, hands hip width apart. I'm gonna drive your heels down towards the mat. Really push back so you take some of that weight out of the palms of the hands and the wrists. To really drive that weight back towards the heels. And this time, let's look up towards our belly button. Pedal your feet left and right. Still looking up towards that belly button. You can rock the weight forward a little bit and back, just driving that weight into the heels. Make sure you're breathing. And then come onto your knees, push back into child's pose. And then let's come onto all fours. And then we're coming into a seated position. Okay, we're gonna do Kirtan Kriya. This is really good for your cognitive function. This is really good for your brain. So we're doing the mantra Sa Ta Na Ma, and we are let me see, it's Sa, we're using the index fingers, thumb, Ta, middle finger, ring finger, Na, Ma, pinky finger, Sa Ta Na Ma. And we are doing, give me a second, 2 minutes normal voice, 2 minutes whisper, and then 4 minutes silently. And we're going to reverse that. And this is really good for the brain. So give me a second. And then you can just gently rest the hands on the knees, and we're always sitting up really straight. We have our chin tucked in, our Jalandhar Bandh, really straight spine. So we'll start Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Close the eyes. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta,
na, ma. We're looking at the point between the brow. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Whisper. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Sa, ta, na, sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And then silently chant to yourself.
this verse. Chant aloud. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's come into a twist. Your feet out in front of us. Bring the right foot over the left knee. Bring your hand behind you. Bring your elbow to your knee. Sit up really tall. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. As far right as you can, activating the twist with your eyes. back to center. Release that. Bring your left knee over your right. Bring your hand behind you. Bring your elbow to your knee. Sit up tall. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Come back to center. Let's release that. Bring your feet to the mat. Let's come down onto our backs. Bring your knees into your chest. You can rock left and right if that feels good. Then let's come into Shavasana, corpse pose. Take up as much space on your mat here as you'd like. Palms face up. And place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Then go ahead and take 5 yogic breaths on your own. Inhale, push your belly out. Exhale, push your belly in. Focus on your heart for a moment. The heart is the largest generator of electromagnetism in the human body, around 100 times stronger than the brain, radiating several feet from the body. In a coherent state, like meditation, the heart is like an amplifier and transmitter, a fine-tuned instrument of electromagnetism capable of receiving and sending messages to the wider field. Your mind has started to wander. Just bring your attention back to your breath. Without any judgment, just come back to the present moment. If you caught yourself thinking, You can make a note, thinking. Maybe you're feeling, make note, oh, it's a feeling. And then come back to your breath. The most important part is the transition back to the breath. There's no judgments. That's the nature of the mind to jump to the next thought. Just come back to this present moment. Notice that your mind is caught up in thought. Just come back to the breath. The heart is the largest generator of electromagnetism in the human body, around 100 times stronger than the brain, radiating several feet from the body. In a coherent state, like meditation, the heart is like an amplifier and transmitter, a fine-tuned instrument of electromagnetism capable of receiving and sending messages to the wider field. Gently start to wiggle fingers and toes. Bring life back into your limbs. And roll your arm up over the head and roll over onto your side. And then come up into a seated position. Hands to your heart, sit up really tall. Just make an intention right now to activate your heart chakra, to be able to send and receive messages through your heart, knowing that it's an electromagnetic muscle and what its capabilities are. And thank you for coming to my class. Namaste.